Welcome to day 3 of the Flying Froggies UK adventure. Others might have been flying, but for us it was a day off to visit the amazing Shuttleworth Collection at Old Warden Aerodrome. We'd landed the night before and checked into a local hotel in Royston. After a slightly hair-raising taxi trip between the hotel and the aerodrome, we settled into discovering this wonderful collection. The rule here is, if it's on display, it has to be able to fly. So the incredible thing at the Shuttleworth Collection is you go from room to room seeing absolute jewels of aviation history. All of them are in working order, all of them flying order. And you go into the next room and you see something else. And then you look around and you see something else. Amazing, amazing. The Dragon Rapide really gives you a sense of what it must have been like to fly in the very first airliners in the 20s and 30s. Absolute class. Every aircraft in the Shuttleworth Collection has its own unique story to tell. The Westland Lysander, for example, has a French connection. This type was used extensively during the Second World War, flying spies and resistance fighters in and out of France during perilous night navigation missions. Sticking with the French connection, what about this Blériot? It was built in 1909, and yes, it too still flies. What a responsibility that must be for the pilot. Everywhere you look, there's another piece of flying, living aviation history. Grosvenor House, the famous de Havilland Comet, won the London to Sydney air race in 1934. There's also an amazing collection of other types of vehicles, such as buses, cars, motorcycles and bicycles, and even farm machinery. And if you wanted to know more about the development of the humble spark plug, then this is the place to be. Who'd have thought there'd have been so many of them? As I said, what makes this place unique is that it's a real living museum, and aircraft are constantly being repaired and restored into flying condition. While you're visiting Old Warden and the Shuttleworth Collection, don't miss the beautiful Swiss Gardens, an incredibly landscaped relic from the 1920s and 30s that's beautifully maintained. It's a real haven of peace, and the peace is occasionally broken by the sound of a tiger moth flying overhead. The day we visited, the weather was absolutely perfect. While the stately home itself was closed for a private function, there were plenty of other unusual things to discover right nearby.
Hello, mate.
One thing we would certainly not be used to seeing in France would be radio-controlled aircraft like this flying so close to an active runway. By listening in on the radio frequency and making sure that aircraft are on the ground when their bigger cousins are flying around, everything seems to fit in quite nicely and safely. Now it's time for an early night because tomorrow's going to be a big day.